Welcome to Our 2 Cents on Your Dollar, the podcast brought to you by Strategic Insights, where we break down the numbers, decode the noise, and offer smart takes on money matters so your financial future makes sense. Yeah, so Alexa's favorite topic.
Is this wait?
How is this my favorite topic?
Wait, I don't know.
They started making the joke, and I'm going with it.
Is it because I actually like randomly look up every week?
No, you called it the Swiss Army knife of investing.
Do you really do that? Do you like randomly? Like, what do? You go to annuities.org and you
Weekly picks. It's weekly picks on our resource tab.
Weekly picks.
Wait, is there really such a thing?
There's a weekly picks tab on our resource tab.
It's
I honestly had no idea it's a thing.
Yeah, dude, it literally have a different one every week. They change it.
And what do you do with that? Just for personal information?
Hey, you can't lie on air. You know that, right?
I do. It's actually. It's fixed annuities, which is really sad. So it's just interest rate stuff, right? I'm just looking at interest rates on that one. I'm not looking at anything
Look at
else.
He's like,
I just basically I'm looking at that, so I don't go looking for CDs. So
you like come out like this is his guilty pleasure, right? It's like going out and looking at fixed annuity rates.
It just saves me the time for having to look at CDs. There you go. That's the honest truth. That's the honest truth. It saves me the time for having to look at CDs, right? There we go.
So what does this look like? Like, I think most people think an advisor is like waking up to his morning coffee, looking at the Nikkei, what the Nikkei did overnight. That's why I said that. And you're looking up
Fixed
the
annuity
weekly
rates.
You're looking up fixed annuity rates.
He's looking at the weekly picks daily.
No. It's just, like I said, it's on Mondays, and it's just really just trying to figure out.
Now he got real specific.
Mondays. Yeah.
First thing Monday, huh?
Okay, you know what? Before we go any further, maybe you need so everybody else can be in on the joke. We want to know what fixed annuities are, but we'll get to that. I figured maybe we start off with talking about the different parties to an annuity, like an owner, annuitant, beneficiary, defining some terms. So also like riders, the difference between living benefit riders, death benefit riders, the different kinds of annuities: immediate, deferred, fixed, variable, fixed, index, deferred income annuity.
Say that faster.
I can if you want me to. Anyway, so I mentioned owner annuitant, beneficiary. What are those people? Who are they? What does all that mean?
They could be the same. They could be different. Right. So basically, you have the owner of the policy, right? The one that could make contractual changes to the policy. They are allowed to also designate and change beneficiaries. They are the one that a beneficiary. It would be the recipient of the policy if something were to happen, or whatever is a remainder, depending on what type of annuity it is. And then the annuitant, it could be who the actual person's based off of, right? What is it's a annuities are essentially life insurance products, and so they can have different individuals for each of them.
Okay. What type of vehicle can annuities be in, or what type of account, the tax treatment?
So there's two ways typically that you can see annuities in qualified accounts or non-qualified accounts. I personally don't like utilizing annuities in qualified accounts. The reason being, what a qualified account does prototypically is it has a tax deferral benefit to it. And so, the growth of the assets inside that qualified account, you do not have to pay taxes on it until you go and take distributions out of that account. An annuity does that already. So it's kind of defeating the purpose of what the actual annuity is doing, right? It provides a deferral for you. So having it in a qualified account, I don't typically like to do, but you can own an annuity in a qualified account, and then also in a non-qualified account as well too.
Okay. What are the different types of annuities? I've heard of immediate and deferred. What are the differences?
The difference between immediate and deferred annuities, when they mention it like that, they're talking about when are you going to start getting the income stream. So in immediate annuities, you're making a lump sum investment, and immediately, whether it's whether a month from now or a year from now, you're starting to get an income stream, whether for your life, for a period certain. With deferred annuities, you're taking the income stream down later in the future.
Are there different types of deferred annuities?
Yes, there's fixed annuities, there's index annuities, and there's variable annuities. and their description tells you how they're going to grow your contributions, your investment. So with fixed annuities, they're kind of similar to CDs, where you're going to get a fixed rate. With index annuities, your rate of return is based on the performance of a specific index, like the S&P 500. And with variable annuities, you get to pick a list of sub accounts. They're similar to mutual funds to grow your cash value.
We also deferred income annuities. What are those? We talked. You mentioned immediate annuities. What are deferred income annuities?
Yeah. So when you hear deferred, what they're talking about is that you don't have any tax liabilities inside the annuity as it's earning money, and then it also talks about when you can actually access the income stream, which is at a later time, so not immediately.
In the intro, I mentioned riders. I know one of the big things that people don't like about annuities is that they give up control of their money to the insurance company, and if they die after 1 year, nobody gets that money. Is that true? And or how do riders fit in?
So I guess it depends, right, on how they took the money out, right? So there's a lot of, I guess, nuances to your question. I guess for the answer to the riders' questions, right, first is that riders could be a living benefit or a death benefit. So I guess let's take a step back. Variable annuities are a life insurance product, right, that are I guess, designed for income streams, right? That's how they were created. The riders component changes it to where now you put some different features on there to where you can have some different benefits. Some of them could be adding some sort of income stream as a living benefit rider, or some sort of increases through some sort of different feature, right? So some sort of adding value to the annuity. On the death benefit side, it's more of the same thing too, right? They can either be capturing different value points that have increased in the policy, or they could be something to where they'll add some sort of, again, additional income to help pay taxes and any of the growth of the account.
There's chronic illness riders on annuities. There's different types of features. One of the points I do want to get across is that these products are so complex, right? Because there are so many things now, especially with we brought up index annuities. There's so many different ways these index annuities can work, right? And the way that the rate of return is determined, the structure of the annuity, whether it protects you on the downside or whether it doesn't protect you on the downside, whether it caps you on your total return, and then plus all the additional riders and features and benefits of those as well too, and then the different costs for each rider that you add on to the product as well too. So I want to emphasize this topic in general is about a product that can be one very simple from a fixed annuity. This is what you get. You annuitize it, income, to much more complex features, bells, whistles, that come with costs typically, that can be very significant over time.
That's what I was trying to explain to. Like, they were initially set up as income streams, right? That was like very simplistic component of what they are. And then now it's like, I use the vehicle analogy, right? The vehicles back then were very, standard, very straightforward. Now you can add a lot of bells and whistles, and they keep changing and keep adding bells and whistles. Throughout our career, we've had access to different products out there. Now there you have some that even have buffers, right? To where the account can go down only so much, and it changes again, the performance. And going back to Leo's point, it's just, there's a lot of moving parts in these things.
All right. I'm not going to let y'all squirrel away from this one, all right? So I'm going to use your car analogy.
Oh.
Do you know what you're looking for in a car?
Me in particular?
Yeah. I mean, you said that like cars have changed. There's now, they have bells and whistles and stuff.
Typically, yes, right? I typically want a particular vehicle that meets the needs that I have for my family, yes.
Okay. So I'm glad you do know that. So are annuitants, owners, whatever you call them, do they know what they're looking for with annuities?
I don't think so. Again, right? I think they're very complicated products. I think most advisors would struggle keeping up with all the different nuances.
Well,
So
we got 40 minutes. So let's
30.
let's what would somebody look? Who would fit the ideal client for a fixed annuity? Who would fit the ideal client for a variable annuity? Who would fit the ideal client for an immediate annuity?
So first, right off the bat, it'd be somebody who's looking to offset the risk, right? They're looking to pass off. They're looking to
It's
ensure.
all the same person for all three of those?
No, I'm talking about just in general, right? For the most of these individuals are looking to offset the risk, right? They're looking to pass over the risk to the insurance company for whatever the particular need or benefit is. So, right, whether it be money for today, money for down the road, for life insurance purposes, right? It could be an array of different. So, right, I think it's somebody that's looking to offset the risk.
I think if the person that's looking for the fixed annuity tends to be a conservative investor. They want the guarantees. For example, with fixed annuities, let's say the guaranteed fixed rate is 5%. So and it's guaranteed for 5 years. So if you put $100,000 first year, you're going to have $105,000, and that's guaranteed by the annuity company. So that person tends to be conservative. The person that wants a variable annuity, I would say with someone more aggressive and wants more investment options, so they can create their own investment strategies, or just or pick an asset allocation recommended by the annuity company. But with variable annuities, you are picking from an array of sub-accounts. They're similar to mutual funds. And so those don't have a guarantee. So if you pick 100% stock portfolio in your variable annuity, you can lose a significant amount depending on market conditions. And then to me, with an index annuity, you have somebody that's more of a moderate investor. They're willing to take additional risk to have a better return than a fixed annuity, but they don't necessarily want to take as much risk investing to a variable annuity.
I think a big part of that, especially too for individuals that want to take a risk, a big reason why they may be using the annuity is because of the tax features of the annuity, right? Because obviously if someone's a naturally aggressive investor, right, you could, invest aggressively outside of an annuity product and get equal to, or if not better returns, because the costs of the annuity are significant. But in this scenario, they may be looking for the tax deferral feature of the annuity. And then in some circumstances as well too, we work with professionals that utilize these type of products for liability purposes, right? So there's some asset creditor protection features when utilizing annuities as well too. So these vehicles typically are used to help with that, but then you can also then, from a variable perspective, still invest the way you want to invest with those assets as well. The other one I think you said was the DIA, right? Deferred income.
That was earlier. Right now, it's specifically about immediate annuity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's for an individual that's looking to produce an income stream right away, right? So they have an asset. Typically, it would be a lump sum of money, and they want to produce income, lasting income for a period of time right away. So they know I have to replace, I'm no longer receiving some sort of income, whether it be, hey, I sold a rental property that was producing XYZ in income from me from the rental income. Now I have this cash. I want to replace that income. This could be an option to be able to produce additional that income and replace it right away for you.
If it's the immediate annuity that's going to give me immediate income, does that mean I can't take immediate income from a fixed annuity, variable annuity?
Depends on the product, right? And some you can't, and that's why they've changed over time, right? They've removed more and more of the restrictions that used to be in place for these products. Beforehand, it used to be more difficult to be able to take out and receive a benefit or take out any principal that you put into the account without being hit with some type of penalty or some type of fee to do so. Now they're granting more access, larger amounts of access to the funds to be able to utilize and provide some income for you or utilize the assets for whatever. So you have some accessibility, but the immediate annuity is really specific so that you can provide a stream of income that's specific and fixed over a time frame.
If I can get immediate income from all the different types of products, why would I choose an immediate annuity over the other types of products?
The income benefit that's provided typically is a guaranteed income benefit, and it's typically larger than what you're able to utilize and what you're able to distribute from the other types. Yeah.
It's always a balancing act. So if you're giving up control, in return, you're expecting a higher income stream from the insurance company. The more flexibility that you want, meaning I do want to be able to take income, but I don't want to annuitize is the word. Annuitize mean you give them your money. It's going to give you an income stream for life, but you pretty much can't touch your money anymore. That's going to give you the biggest income. And then the more flexibility you want, meaning I want to be able to take withdrawals, but I don't want to annuitize, meaning I still want to be able to access my cash value. The lesser the income will be, but you'll have more
I
flexibility.
just looked at something earlier, and it had a benefit for male was higher, female was lower because of longevity, and then both accounts was obviously even less. So so now because going to all the different options that are out there, you can even do a joint, right, to where you can do it off 2 lives, right? Instead of just being
You're talking about immediate annuity?
No, just annuities in general. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. A little sidetrack there. I was just thinking about it, going to his process of talking about how it depends, right, what your income's based off of, right? Based on the flexibility.
Wait, usually I just play along, like I don't know what I'm talking about. But right now I really don't know what you're talking about. Can you?
But he was talking about just the income streams based off the flexibility. It made me click on the aspect that we didn't even talk about how those income streams are affected, right? If you go to just life only, right, you get a higher income streams. Or you start.
But that example you gave right now, you were talking about variable annuity.
Correct. I'm talking about other options.
So can you? Why was the variable annuity income stream different between male and female?
Because of life expectancy.
But like you're annuitizing the variable annuity?
Yes, if you're taking income streams off of it. Yeah, because you're going back to the offset of taking that income stream. What does that look like?
So you I don't think I've ever quoted annuitizing a variable annuity.
It was just looking at just the way the income streams were coming off of it, how it's going to be impacted based off of whether it's a male.
Are you talking about like if like an income rider, like if they added an income rider to the variable annuity, like the rate, the difference in the rate based on the individual sex?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that.
Never heard of it.
You've heard of age banding, but either way, since we're there,
age banding for sure. I didn't know that it affected this.
Yeah. So can you explain for the audience for the living benefit rider, the income, age banding? Can you explain a little bit of all that or how that works?
I mean, it just again.
I know it's a difficult concept, but I think usually I've sold an annuity. So here's, I guess, where we should. I know.
Been a minute.
All right.
It's been a minute for me.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're very.
Listen, I'm a recovering annuity salesman.
Can't wait to hear this.
I've probably done like less than a handful my entire career.
The living benefit.
Withdrawal benefit.
Oh yeah. So sometimes it's hard. The couple times clients do have annuities, and they have a variable annuity with a living benefit rider. There's usually 2 different values. There's the contract value and there's the benefit base. And I think sometimes
It's like that imaginary number.
right. I think it's very confusing for people.
Extremely.
And it's going to be hard to explain it just verbally without showing them.
Yeah.
But do the best you can, please.
Yeah, essentially individuals put some sort of dollar amount in there, right? So we'll just use simple numbers, 100,000. They'll have another column which will be a cash value, what it's actually worth if they were just to ask for all the money back. And then they have this living benefit, which is increasing based off of some sort of percentage that's been agreed upon in the contract, right? Because these are essentially a contract, they're life insurance products. And so and then you'll sometimes even have a 4th column, which will be the death benefit, right? So you have all these different moving parts. They're all going in different directions, right? The cash value is going to be going in a direction based off of fees and concepts. And fund performance, then you're going to have this living benefits based off of whatever agreement. And again, going back to Leo's point, they're calculated completely different on every single contract. But they're designed to go up and only. And then you have the death benefit. So at some point down the road, this individual is going to come to a point where they're going to start needing money, and they have to decide on how they're going to take the funds out, right? They can turn this living benefit rider on. So, right, they are turning a benefit on. They're not annuitizing it, but they're taking a benefit off of it, which is going to reduce the cash value. And they're going to receive that benefit based off of whatever the contract depicts on there. And so a lot of times people don't understand how they all work together. They're they're meant for income streams, right? That's typically what they're designed for. So the individual is looking to either create that income stream, or they're looking to try to grow their money in some other way.
Okay, so that's if I want to take an income. But you mentioned earlier about just a plain tax deferral strategy. So if I don't want an income, I just want to defer taxes.
Don't add that rider.
Yeah. So the rider's optional, is what I
Correct.
hear y'all saying. Okay.
Yeah, don't add the rider. Yeah.
Some of them can be added on at later at times, but most of them have to be added at contract. But there are some that policies, again, going back to that, do allow for addition. You can add on different features later. So you making sure you have an idea of what you think you need today and what you might not need down the road.
Okay, so if I don't add that rider, does that mean I can't take an income off of my annuity?
No, that's what we were talking about, that some of these contracts allow you to take out a percentage of the contract value.
Typically
annually.
10%.
Yeah.
That's during the surrender period.
Yeah.
What is the surrender period? Let's start
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah,
A surrender period is a period of time of which when you remove a certain value out of the contract, you pay a penalty to the insurance company based on the terms of the contract. And so that's determined beforehand. So you know exactly, hey, the first 7 years of the contract, if I remove more than XYZ, then I would have to pay, 7% on that dollar amount, 6%. A lot of times it's declining. So the longer you wait, the less the surrender percentage is. But that period, once it ends, so let's say it's 7 years on that annuity contract, once that 7-year time frame is over, in variable contract, you have access to take out anything from the contract.
Just got to make sure you over 59 and a half, right? There are some tax implications if you are younger than 59 and a half.
You mentioned taxes. What are the tax implications of taking money out of an annuity? Assuming you're over 59 and a half.
Yeah, so if you have a non-qualified annuity, which is an annuity outside of a retirement account, outside of an IRA, and you take money out, it's LIFO, which is last in, first out, meaning gains will come out first, and then your contribution or basis comes out last. So in that situation, which means whenever you take money out and you have gains, those come out first, and that will be taxable. And then later on, basis will be tax-free.
How is it taxable?
It's taxed as ordinary income. Yeah. If you decide to annuitize that annuity, meaning you're going to take an income stream for life, it's taxed a little bit differently. Your contribution or basis is spread out over your lifetime as you're taking out those distributions, and a portion will be taxable as they come out as gains. But if you have the annuity, I mean, Leo mentioned earlier that he doesn't really prefer having annuities in tax deferred accounts because IRA accounts are already tax deferred, tax sheltered. If you take withdrawals from annuities inside like an IRA, that's taxable as ordinary income.
So that's a good point. So you don't like to put annuities in IRAs, but you can.
Right. Yeah.
You can put fixed annuities
I'll
in
tell
there.
you,
And they like to use it as different, conservative holdings, right? If you're looking at doing something like a short-term cash flow or different things like that, which is what, again, it goes back to what you're looking to offset risk, right? So it's got to be appropriate. I don't mind them inside of IRA accounts if they're going to be used for things like that, to where it makes sense in asset allocation.
That was my first job, working in the K through 12 market for an insurance company. Young 23-year-old. Doing a lot of variable annuity sales in 403Bs. So there's a multiple insurance companies that use variable annuities in 403B contracts, which is a retirement account, which you get the tax deferral features and benefits of the retirement account, but they're also using an annuity contract in it.
This quick blurb about that. So there are fee-based variable annuities now that do not have any surrender periods, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Earlier you mentioned fixed annuities are appropriate for conservative investors. How is that different than a CD? Like why would I choose a fixed annuity over a CD, for example?
Because the rates could be higher in a fixed annuity and the tax deferral. So even though you're investing in a non-qualified annuity, or that just means you're investing in an annuity outside of a qualified account like an IRA account, it has tax deferral. So earlier I used an example of investing $100,000 into a fixed annuity. If you did that with a CD, that $5,000 of interest that you're earning will be taxable as ordinary income. And if you're doing a strategy like asset location, where you're trying to reduce the amount of interest or dividends that's showing up on your tax returns, a way you can do that is to use annuities, because in the same scenario, when you earn that fixed interest inside the fixed annuity, you won't pay taxes on that interest.
Can you take the interest as it's paid in the fixed annuity?
Yes.
And you'll just pay ordinary income tax. At that point, tax deferral doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I think a fun fact too is some fixed annuities can pay. It doesn't have to be just simple interest; it can be compound interest. And CDs, that's not the case. I think an important distinction between CDs and fixed annuities: CDs FDIC insured, fixed annuities not.
No.
Insurance based, right? Making sure that add that to conversation, right? You know, what is their ability to be able to pay, right?
What do you mean? Some insurance companies can't.
I mean, I guess they could go bankrupt, right? I mean, I've seen some interesting names on that weekly list.
I've heard of a bailout or two.
Are there any names on your weekly list that don't show up the following week? Is that what you're
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, where did they go?
What happened to so-and-so?
Such a great rating.
Oh man!
Lasted 1 week.
1 week.
1 week you're here, 1 week you're not.
So I think this is the special situation portion of the show.
We're special, all right.
Yeah. Those are all. They have the word annuity in them. But I feel like sometimes people have a misunderstanding, or they automatically think like, oh, annuity, bad. I'm giving up control of my money. I don't even want to consider those special situations, even though they might apply to me. So, we talked about charitable gift annuity in a different podcast, so maybe we'll skip over that one. But qualified longevity annuity contract, what are those? What can y'all tell me about those?
Yeah, you know, for example, for individuals, our clients that are subject to required minimum distributions. So if you have a traditional IRA and you reach a certain age, for example, age 73, you're required to take a certain amount from your IRA. And when you do that, that's taxable. We have some clients that they don't want the required minimum distributions. They're able to manage their expenses with Social Security, their pension, and other investments, and they don't want to take the IRA. They don't need it, and they don't want to pay the additional taxes. So that's where a QLAC comes in, a qualified longevity annuity contract.
QLAC's always fun to say. Always fun.
This is a strategy where you can invest up to $210,000 into a QLAC, and it'll satisfy your required minimum distribution, and it'll also be eligible as a qualified charitable distribution. So that means when you take this money out of your IRA, put it into a QLAC, it is not taxable. And so, but later on, you do have to take an income stream from the QLAC. So it checks off a lot of boxes, and it's an annuity, and usually we have a bias against annuities, but this is one of those strategies where you can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to kind of look at your situation to see if it makes sense. Yeah.
Do you want to add something there?
Yeah.
There was, and then
The baby in the bathwater threw you out.
the baby in the bathwater.
Your brain got thrown out with that
I
bathwater.
was like, man.
Did you just say baby?
Yeah, especially so that demographic as well too. From an income perspective, there are features and benefits that are the cost of those features and benefits are determined based on income, right? So, Medicare, supplemental Medicare costs, things like that. And so, if an individual has to take an RMD, that extra income from the RMD could affect an additional cost for supplemental Medicare costs. And there's a scenario there where this really does make sense, because then it can help them avoid not only taking that additional income but paying additional costs from a medical expense.
Yeah, good. What about private annuity? What can you tell me about that? What is that?
What is that?
Private annuity. I'm sure you've written one of those before.
Yeah, I take the weekly picks. I keep it conservative around you.
If only somebody would have given these notes out ahead of time.
Oh, we have notes.
Private.
I was strong on everything. I
Well,
can't be strong.
Yeah.
So I didn't firm this up because I thought you all were going to. So if we need to edit this out, we'll edit it out. But
Keep it in. I
I'm,
like
I'm,
it.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's been a long time. This is old CFP stuff. You CFPs.
Okay.
Right? Private annuities are mainly used whenever you're selling a business, and it's usually to, I think, a family member. And private annuity.
Yeah.
So just
Oh,
like
so you're backing.
it's almost kind of like an installment sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm guaranteeing for the rest of
The income
yeah.
benefit or the income stream for you.
Yeah. And so of course there's gifting rules, right? So you have to pay a certain interest rate to make sure you don't
Right.
So
So that you have to have an appropriate contract in place.
right. Yeah.
Attorneys
But
typically drawing this up.
the reason why it's called a private annuity, though, is because annuities, as you mentioned, are typically through an insurance company. This one is
Person to
buyer to
person.
seller.
Yeah.
Mano y mano.
That's right.
A lot of trust involved.
Yeah.
What rating do you have, sir?
Is this
but,
not?
but that's actually right.
You could.
It's
Yeah.
you won't ask that.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you feel like this person's probably not going to be able to pay you back, you probably don't want to use a private annuity.
Right.
That's probably another topic, another whole.
Yeah, that could actually go into another.
Right.
Yeah.
The point is, annuity is not always. We don't automatically just say, "Oh, annuity's bad, yuck."
They have their place.
I do.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Well,
that's
I mean,
actually exactly what I said.
I think they have their place, right? I don't think that they solve all the problems, right? And I think that that's what your point is, right? They're not the one. They're not the Swiss Army knife of everything that you
You're
think
just
I use.
looking at that weekly report, though.
I just don't want to look at CD rates. That's the only reason why I'm telling you. I'm not looking at the other.
changing your story.
No,
I
I
about
said
annuities.
fixed annuities. I just said fixed annuities. Nothing else. Lazy like that.
All right, since we're on the topic of selling a business, I know it's called structured settlement annuity, but how are these used when selling a business? Or
It's a way just to kind of control the income stream, right? So it gives the recipient of the funds, whether it be through a business sale or through a settlement, car crash, something along those lines. It gives just again control of the income stream, and so that gives them flexibility on how they're going to receive the income. Again, typically they're used in business aspects because of the fact that they don't, there's different ways that the taxes can be recognized.
okay. Any other parting words on annuities? Y'all's favorite topic?
Tax treatment at death. So there is no step up in cost basis on annuities. That's a really big thing people tend to forget. It's one of the few assets that you own that when you pass, you don't automatically, the beneficiary doesn't automatically get the step up to whatever the value of the annuity is. And
Can you give us a numerical example?
sure,
How does
yeah,
that work?
yep. So let's say you had a SPIA, and you put money into a SPIA.
Bad example.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say variable annuity.
Just kidding.
VA. Let's say you put in $200,000 into a variable annuity. That actually was a bad example.
You were thinking about your commission
That
base.
was variable annuity. Put $100,000 into a variable annuity. You have that variable annuity for 15 years. So now that $100,000 is now $500,000. And let's say at that point in time, it's a good annuity. Let's say that annuity, you're taking income from it, whatever the case may be. Well, typically for an investment, the difference from what you put in your cost basis and what the value of the asset is at death, you typically get a step up in cost basis. So your beneficiary is not liable for taxes on the increase of the value for normal investments. In annuity, you do not get the step up in cost basis. So they become liable for the income, for the taxes on anything that you've accrued on the asset in that circumstance.
Going back to that as a life insurance product, on the opposite side of it, right? If you put $100,000 into it, it went down in value to $30,000 because market bad, whatever happened. You never touch, you never do anything, and you passed away. Your beneficiaries would actually receive the $100,000. So they'd actually receive that death benefit. So again, it is a life insurance product at heart. Then they have different reasons as to what you would be using it for, right? Based off of all the different topics we talked.
That's if there's a death benefit rider on there, right?
Even at return of correct, a return of premium, right? Which is I guess it goes back to
Return of premium. Is there a cost or?
I'm pretty sure there's a benefit rider. There's some sort of rider fee on there. Yes.
Isn't there also an additional death benefit rider for those types of situations where there is no step up in cost basis?
Yeah, you can add that.
That will help pay for some of the
Can you
gains.
explain?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's typically they'll have some sort of bonus feature on the cash value. So right at if you put in 100,000 and it grew to 200,000, whatever that growth was, the death benefit will typically add some sort of percentage to help you offset some of those taxes. It won't be completely all of it, but it'll help you offset some of it.
Cool. All right.
Is it a Swiss Army knife or no?
Stop it.
Just kidding.
Again, you keep adding all that stuff, you're gonna keep paying for it.
I'm
So
not-
right, so it depends on what you're doing.
No, I think you're thinking life insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Be your own bank.
Check that podcast out.
Yeah, check that episode out, please. Okay. Good stuff,
Yeah.
guys. All right.
Yeah. I haven't wrote an annuity, and I really have no idea when last I wrote an
You look
annuity.
guilty.
No, I'm serious.
Can I get an annuities on 3?
Hey, and
Too fast.
Yeah, too quick on the draw.
too quick.
Sam was already there.
Too quick.
Cool. Thank you for joining us on Our 2 Cents on Your Dollar, proudly presented by Strategic Insights. If today's conversation brought you clarity, please pass it along and don't forget to subscribe, share, and check the description below to learn more about us. Until next time, stay informed, stay invested, and stay strategic.